Welcome to the Motor City Sports Podcast, your home for discussing all things Detroit sports. I'm your host, Lee Mozurek, and as always, I want to thank you for being along on the ride with me today. Wow, we just got done with a pretty sweet week of baseball. Home Run Derby, All-Star Game. I actually thought both exceeded expectations. Now we have a couple nights off before baseball is back at it. And so today we're going to discuss the Home Run Derby. We're going to recap it, have a couple thoughts about that. We'll talk about the All-Star Game and the unfortunate showing of our lovely Detroit Tigers. And then a little bit later, we're going to recap the rest of the season for the Detroit Tigers that starts this weekend. Reasons that we can be positive. We don't need to panic. We don't need to freak out. But before we get started today, I need to remind everyone that today's episode is brought to you by Pointe Spine Center, where they use non-surgical spinal decompression with the DRX 9000 to help patients suffering from chronic neck pain, chronic back pain, and sciatica caused by herniated discs, bulging discs, and degenerative disc disease. If you're in the Metro Detroit area and you're in the need of pain relief, call them at 313-332-0388 or visit them online at grossepointspinecenter.com. First thing I want to go over is the Home Run Derby. So Monday night, we had the Home Run Derby. We had 8 guys battle out there. James Wood, Brent Rooker, Junior Caminero, O'Neill Cruz, Byron Buxton, Jazz Chisholm, Cal Raleigh, and Matt Olson. One thing I found out was that Riley Green declined an invitation. And we talked a little bit on Monday's podcast about how there weren't a lot of guys in the Home Run Derby that were at the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, we had Cal Raleigh, who's the #1 home run hitter of the year. But a lot of the other guys that were in there had 17 home runs, 18 home runs, not a lot of big hitters, where Riley Green, I believe, has the 3rd most home runs in the American League, and he wasn't there, and I kind of wondered why that might be. But it turns out that he declined the invitation. He said that he doesn't really hit on the field much anymore. He does all of his batting practice inside in the tunnel, so he didn't think he'd do real well in the Home Run Derby on the field. Deep down, he probably didn't want to screw his swing up, just wants to stay healthy. But we kind of found out too, he turned down a chance at some big money. Someone like Riley Green doesn't even make $1 million a year right now. And the winner of the Home Run Derby got $1 million. So everyone got $150,000 just to participate. The runner-up gets $500,000. The winner gets $1 million, and then $100,000 to the person who hits the longest home run. So looks like Cal Raleigh got himself an extra $1 million. And it looks like Junior Caminero got himself an extra $500,000, and O'Neill Cruz got himself an extra $100,000 on top of the $150,000 they all got. So I really like the Home Run Derby this year. In the past, I've not enjoyed it much for kind of 2 different reasons. One, when it was just like the 10 outs, I felt like it dragged on. It just kind of took a long time. They would take a lot of pitches, which I understand they want to get their pitch. And so the Home Run Derby would take a long time, wasn't as exciting of a television show. And then when they switched to the timed thing, because we're all so programmed just to complain about whatever, it almost seems too fast, like they're just flying through too much. And I've heard a lot of people say this new timed format is just too bad for the guys' swings. But that's been a problem for a long time. It hasn't just been the new format that guys' swings get all messed up. That's been going on for decades, that it seems like guys that hit in the Home Run Derby, they're not the same the second half of the year, even when they were taking their time getting nice full swings. I just never really, I didn't like the idea of the timed one, because I kind of like to admire those home runs, those ones that are hit 500 feet. I like to kind of watch it go, 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 and land, thinking of Chris Berman yelling back, 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 all the way to the wall. We didn't get much of that. That next pitch is coming right away. But I understand, like most things, I understand both sides, and I understand why they moved to that. They got to keep it moving. What I do like, though, is how they kind of combined a little bit of the old model. So they have the rapid fire 3-minute, 2-minute rounds, and then they get 3 outs and they can earn a 4th out, or they can take their time and maybe get hot at the end there. And so I like how there's kind of both formats there, and I think it looked really good on TV. Introductions took a while, which I understand they want to make that a big deal. Once they got going with the Home Run Derby, I thought it went really well. And I really thought the order of the players ended up working out perfectly, because James Wood starts, he gets 16 home runs, and the commentators, Kyle Ravitch and those guys, were saying, hey, that's a respectable number. Pretty good. He didn't hit 0. He didn't hit 1 or 2. He got 16 home runs, felt like a pretty good number. We're off to a good start. And then Brent Rooker comes up, beats him by 1. Junior Caminero comes up, gets 21. So now each guy is getting a little bit more. O'Neill Cruz comes up. He hits 21, including a 513-footer. So now we've got four guys that have all hit a decent amount of home runs, but now we have to worry about who's going to get eliminated. So then Byron Buxton comes up, hits 20, which knocks out James Wood, which was interesting because when James Wood hit the 16, we thought that's a good number. So he got to feel like he was in it for a while. So Buxton knocks him out. Jazz Chisholm comes up. There's always one, right? There's always one that can't quite get the home runs. He said he was just trying to do his regular swing. He wasn't trying to hit home runs. Only gets 3. At least he got 1. You never like to see a guy go over. But he gets 3, not even contention. Cal Raleigh comes up, hits 17, and that becomes a little controversial in a bit. Matt Olson, hometown guy, everyone in the building's rooting for him, only gets 15, so he's knocked out. So we know that Junior Caminero, O'Neill Cruz, and Byron Buxton are moving on because they all hit 20 or more. But Brent Rooker and Cal Raleigh both hit 17 home runs. So the feeling was really they're going to do a swing off, right? They're going to get up there, each get 1 swing, each get 3 swings, something, and they're both going to hit the ball as far as they can a couple times. Whoever hits the home run or whoever hits the most home runs, they're going to move on. And then all of a sudden, they made the announcement that it was going to go by distance, but they both hit a home run the exact same amount of feet. So they had to go down to the decimal point to see how far it was hit. And that really seemed to rub Brent Rooker the wrong way. He didn't seem to know that was the rule. And I kind of have 2 thoughts on this. One, there's the part of me that always goes back to, it's just the home run derby. It's not that serious. So I don't think we have to get too upset about it. But then you realize there's money on the line. So, Brent Rooker gets through that round. He goes, makes 500,000, makes $1 million. And it's such a minuscule number, right? Like, how accurate are these measurements? So we get it down to the couple of inches. That's kind of a hard pill to swallow. So it was unfortunate the way that shook out. Cal Raleigh gets to move on with his 17. Brent Rooker is done. So now in the next round, O'Neill Cruz gets the number 1 seed because of his 513-foot home run. He's the 1 seed going against the 4 seed Cal Raleigh. And then Junior Caminero and Byron Buxton are going to face each other as well. Both pretty tight battles. Cal Raleigh hits off 19 home runs. O'Neill Cruz only able to hit 13, so Cal moves on. Junior Caminero, Byron Buxton a little tighter. Junior Caminero hits 8, Byron Buxton only 7. So we have a final round of Cal Raleigh versus Junior Caminero. And it was great. Cal Raleigh ends up hitting 18 home runs. Junior Caminero can't catch him, only hits 15. Just a really cool environment. Cal Raleigh having his dad throwing to him, his brothers catching. We've seen that video a bunch through the last week or two of Cal Raleigh as a small kid saying, "I'm the home run derby champ." And now he gets to go out there. He gets to hit off his dad with his brother right behind him and actually is the home run derby champ, which is just cool. It's just cool storybook stuff. But it's a crazy controversial thing in that Cal Raleigh only moved on by inches. And had we had the swing off that everyone thought we would have, because they said later that if there was a tie in a later round, they were going to have a swing off. But it was like just for that first round, they were using longest distance. And so we're that close to Cal Raleigh not moving on, not winning the $1 million, not having the cool story. And I kind of understand also why they went with the longest home run early on. Back to what I was saying earlier, they want to keep this moving. They don't want to be stuck. They don't want this dragging on too long. They want to keep it as exciting as possible. My TV, the guide on my TV said it was going to be from 8 to 10. Laughable. That thing's going way past 2 hours. So they don't want to add another mini round where they got to bring Cal and Rooker out there again. The guys got to get warmed up throwing, hit a couple strikes. Do they give him 1 out? Do they give him 3 outs? Is it just 1 swing? So I can see they wanted to keep it going as good as they could. It's just a real bummer that it shook out that way, and Brent Rooker thought he was going to have a chance, and that kind of gets taken away from him. But overall, I had a good time. Really good time watching the Home Run Derby. I thought they've done a nice job of trying to keep it moving along a little bit while still giving the guys a chance to get a timeout, to get a breather. Seeing the kids run around in the outfield is always fun. One of those guys robbed a home run that they ended up giving to Junior Caminero anyway. Seeing the guys in the stands when they catch a home run, they're jumping up and down. They're so excited. Seeing the players on the sides out on the field in front of the dugouts, just having a blast with their families, cheering each other on, taking timeouts, giving each other Gatorade. I love that camaraderie. I love how good of a time they're having, because like the idea for me for this podcast is all this stuff's supposed to be fun, right? This is a game. We're supposed to enjoy it. Yes, it's become a business, but I think people, especially people that follow sports and cover sports and are in sports media, they forget it's a game all the time. They're crabby. They take the fun out of everything. And so it's great to see the players remember it's a game. They're out there having a blast, laughing, jumping up and down. So that makes it more fun for me as a viewer when I'm watching it, and I really enjoyed it. So Cal Raleigh, first catcher ever to win it, first Seattle Mariner to win it since my favorite baseball player of all time, Ken Griffey Jr. So we'll be interested to see what happens to Cal Raleigh. Like I mentioned earlier in the week, no disrespect to all these guys, but you look at these names that were in the home run derby this week. I'll be real interested to see in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how many of them become legends. Does Cal Raleigh put on a string of 3, 4, 40 home run seasons in a row? Does Matt Olson, because he's got a great glove, he's a great defensive player, does he have a career that we go, holy cow, that's a Hall of Fame player? O'Neal Cruz hits the ball a mile. Does that become his thing where he does that for the next 10 years? So I'll be really interested to see how that pans out, what these guys become long-term in their careers. And I also really hope it doesn't affect any of them negatively moving into the second half of this year, losing their swing, especially the Cal and Junior that went 3 rounds. So hopefully they're able to have a good second half. I don't want anything to happen that makes people not want to be a part of the home run derby as we move forward. So that wraps up kind of my quick little recap and my thoughts of the home run derby. We'll take a quick break right here. When we come back on the other side, we are going to get into the All-Star game. What did everyone think? We'll talk about that right after this break. You're listening to Motor City Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the Motor City Sports Podcast. I am your host, Lee Mosierak. And in the first segment today, we talked about the home run derby. Cal Raleigh getting the win. The big dumper, as they say, wins the home run derby with his dad on the mound and his brother catching behind him. Really great story. Really great showing for the home run derby. So that brings us to Tuesday night. And this is the Motor City Sports Podcast. So first and foremost, we're going to look at our Tigers. We had Tigers leading off, right? So we had Gleyber Torres batting 1, Riley Green batting 2nd. Javi a little bit further down the lineup. We had Tarek Skubal on the mound, Zach McKinstry coming off the bench, and we had Casey Mize ready to go out of the bullpen. And we finally get that Skeens versus Skubal matchup. Remember earlier in the year, we had the opportunity to have Skeens versus Skubal. It was a doubleheader day. They could have made that switch real easily, but the managers kind of went to the players and let them split it. Skubal through the first game, Tigers won. Skeens through the second game. Tigers were down. Tigers came back and tied it. We had a rain delay. There was drama in the outfield. There was drama in the stands, all kinds of craziness. And Tigers ended up losing that game. But so now we finally get Skeens versus Skubal. It's just going to be for an inning. We know both guys are only throwing 1 inning when they go out there. And so let's see what happens. And Tigers come up first. American League comes up first. Gleyber Torres leading off, unfortunately strikes out, which is incredibly uncommon for him. Those of us who follow the Tigers know Gleyber Torres does not strike out a lot. In fact, he has more walks than he has strikeouts. Then we get Riley Green, who's kind of the opposite of that. Love Riley Green. Great hitter, great player. Stud for the Tigers. But he does strike out a lot. So unfortunately against Paul Skeens, Riley strikes out as well. Almost isn't fair in that scenario, right? Paul Skeens knows he's only got 1 inning. He's holding nothing back. He's coming out there. He's firing. He was hitting 100 miles an hour with ease. Strikes out Torres. Strikes out Green. Judge grounds out to end the first inning. Not the most exciting start for the American League. So that brings us to the bottom half of the first inning. Tarek Skubal on the mound, ready to line up against Shohei Ohtani. And I could not believe that they had him mic'd up. Tarek's talked about in the past how on game day he tries to stay fairly level-headed. He's not that guy that's over in the corner mean-mugging everyone, staying quiet. He tries to make it like a normal day. So I could see him being someone who wouldn't mind being mic'd up. But first time you're starting an all-star game, all this pressure, everyone wants to see what you're like on the national stage, especially this coming off a little bit of a rocky start, pitching against potentially the greatest hitter in the history of Major League Baseball. And Fox is basically like, hey, do you mind if you keep us entertained while you're talking to us at the same time? So this poor guy is trying to talk to Fox while he's trying to pitch against Ohtani, gets up 0-2. Ohtani gets a little dumper over top his shortstop, barely got any barrel on it, gets down with a base hit. Acuna comes up. Tarek saws him off, gets a handle, trickles the ball. I think they said it was like 40 miles an hour exit velo. Barely makes it to second base. Acuna gets to first. Now we got first and second. Marte comes up, fists one off down the right field line. It's like none of these guys are barreling up the ball. Ohtani barely gets the hit. Acuna barely gets on base. Marte hit it kind of hard, but just fought it off down the opposite field. Now they got 2 runs. And it's like, oh my gosh. If we weren't distracting him while he's trying to pitch to the greatest hitters in baseball, Maybe we could have got out a little quicker. And then Freeman comes up, grounds out. We get the strikeout on Manny Machado with the first ever challenge, the automated balls and strikes. It was like no doubter, right? As soon as Tarek threw that changeup, Tarek knew it was a strike. For those of you who may not have seen it, he's up 0-2. He throws a beautiful changeup low in the zone. Calls a ball low. Immediately, Tarek and Cal both tap their helmet. They go to the review. We get that review milliseconds. I don't know why we're not using this all the time. Immediately, we know, yep, strike three. Machado's out of there. Then Will Smith comes up, strikes him out. We get 2 strikeouts. He ends up getting out of there okay, but they do give up 2 runs. So I'm sitting there thinking after the first inning, oh no. We got 2 strikeouts for Tigers. Tarek's giving up 2 runs. And I've said a lot of the country does not take the Tigers seriously. That was kind of the basis of my first episode of this podcast, that nationally, everyone thinks that we're a cute little story, but we're not really that good. Even locally, everyone's kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, which I'm going to prevent getting sidetracked here, but local sports radio, the one that has the Tigers games, they were doing exactly that a couple days ago, just drove me nuts. So anyway, so people don't take the Tigers thing seriously. So I was really hoping on this big national stage All-Star game, they would just go crazy and just do amazing. Not off to the best start, 2 strikeouts, giving up 2 runs, down 2-0. So that gets us out of there. We get to the next batch of the game, 2nd through the 5th inning. Not a lot happens. Javi comes up, Javi gets out, but there's no scoring 2nd through 5th inning. We get a couple strikeouts from Green, strikeouts from Torres, Javi gets out. Basically, at the end of the day, our Tigers hitters, including Zach McKinstry, go 0 for 8. And then Tarek gives up the 2 runs, and then Casey Mize gives up a run as well, as we're going to see. Because we get into the 6th inning, Pete Alonso gets a 3-run home run, goes up 5-0. Bring in Casey Mize, he gets an out. And then Corbin Carroll comes up to bat. And Corbin Carroll has always kind of reminded me of Steve Kwan. Maybe it's that left-hander, kind of a slap hitter deal. Whenever Steve Kwan comes up against Tigers, I always feel like he's going to get a hit. And something about Corbin Carroll makes me feel the same way. We obviously don't play them as much. We didn't play the Diamondbacks in the playoffs last year, so that's not top of mind. But sure enough, he hits a home run off Casey Mize. And I think, oh my gosh, this is going terribly. We're giving up 3 of the 6 runs Tigers pitchers have. Tigers hitters haven't done anything yet. It's not looking good. So after 6 innings, down 6-0, not looking great. In 7th inning, we start mounting a comeback. Brent Rooker, good for him, comes up, hits a 3-run home run to bring it to 6-3. He had some drama Monday night with some crazy fan on social media. So it was good for Rooker that he got to come up, hit that big home run, just crushed it. They had a great view of the ump and what that ball looked like as it just took off. It was really cool. And then Bobby Witt comes up, another guy from the AL Central that I feel like always gets a hit, gets an RBI. So 6-4, National League is up. So now we're going to the 9th inning. National League probably thinks they got it under control. Eugenio Suarez makes a phenomenal play to get an out early on, which is going to help his trade stock. All signs point to him getting traded. They even made a comment during the All-Star game that it could very well be to the Yankees, as they've moved Jazz over to second base and are looking for third baseman. I will repeat that I seriously hope the Tigers are not remotely entertaining trading for a third baseman. As cool as it would be to have Suarez back, we just don't need him. So we got an out in that 9th inning. Byron Buxton and Bobby Witt both get doubles. Buxton scores. They're down 6-5. Witt gets over to third. Steve Kwan comes up. And there was no doubt in my mind that Steve Kwan was going to get a hit. He was getting that run in because I swear he gets hits every time he's up to bat. He's fighting off. He's not striking out. He's hitting foul balls. And then he gets that infield single, beats up, tie game 6-6. And what I loved is the same thing I talked about from the home run derby, and the same thing I'm going to talk about later in the swing off, is I loved the excitement of the players. Looking at the players running up and down the dugouts, giving each other a high five. They're excited. They're having fun. They want to win. This game means something to them. We don't need to have World Series home field advantage on the line. They want to win. And that's what makes the All-Star game for baseball amazing. They don't have to necessarily have a starting pitcher go out there and throw 7 innings. They can each throw 1 inning, be competitive, and really want to win. And what I think happens with a lot of the other sports, obviously, is that's not there. NBA All-Star game's a joke. Pro Bowls turn into literally flag football. I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I know they don't do a lot of hitting in that All-Star game. Again, they don't want to get injured. I get it. But in baseball, for the most part, you can play it for real and have just a blast doing it. So this game meant something to them. Going to the bottom of the 9th inning, National League doesn't score. And I have to admit, I'm wondering what's going to happen, because I knew we weren't having ties, but I didn't think we're in extra innings. I totally forgot about the swing off. And so and they made the comment that the National League threw their last pitcher in the last 2 outs of the inning. That last pitcher comes in, faces Quan, and they don't have pitching anymore. So we can't go to extra innings. And then they announced the swing off. And then I vaguely started to remember that being a thing. And so what we find out is that each team has elected 3 representatives that are going to go up there and do the swing off. They get 3 swings apiece. They either hit 0 home runs or they hit up to 3 home runs, and they're going to rotate American League, National League. And when they announce the players, all respect intended, it's kind of a weird bunch, right? American League, Brent Rooker, Randy Rosarina, and Jonathan Aranda. National League, Kyle Stowers, Kyle Schwaber, and Pete Alonso, the polar bear. So yeah, Brent Rooker was in the home run derby. Kyle Schwaber should be in the home run derby. Pete Alonso has won the home run derby. So those names made sense. So you're thinking, where's Aaron Judge? Where's Shohei Ohtani? I get they didn't want to do the home run derby. Why aren't we doing this? This is for the game. And then as we're watching, I realized I don't even see Aaron Judge. I don't even see Shohei Ohtani. So my initial thought was, well, they can't do the swing off because they're cooled down, right? They're not warmed up. They're not playing. You can't bring someone in for 4 innings and then say, okay, you're done for the night. They go. They probably take off their shoes. I'm thinking they take off their cleats. They maybe put on a new shirt. And then they go, oh, quickly grab a bat and get up there and try not to hurt yourself. That wasn't going to happen. Even Tarek Skubal was in dress clothes. He was totally showered and cleaned up. So that must be why we don't have the big names that you might think. But then what I found out later is that some of these guys left. There was travel issues and they were getting out of there. So they started, came out of the game, left the ballpark and traveled somewhere. And I got to tell you, I don't like it. I'm the positive guy. I try, and I'm super pro player. When it comes to players getting their contracts, I'm pro player. When it comes to players getting a lot of hate online for stuff, I'm pro player. But I don't like that they left the game early. I'm just saying a minute ago how it was clear to me this game mattered to these players, the way they're jumping up and down and getting excited. But if we're going to say that, then on the other hand, same sentence, whatever, say, well, 6, 7, 8 of them just left the game early to get somewhere. I don't like that. So that's really what happened. That bums me out. We could have had much bigger names, but what we had was awesome. So Brent Rooker starts out, gets 2 home runs. Kyle Stowers comes back, gets 1. Had to at least get 1. Like, couldn't go 0 for right at the beginning. Randy Rosarina comes up, hits 1. So now the American League's up 3-1. Kyle Schwaber comes up, just an animal. Crushes the first one, dead center. Crushes another one. Hits that third one on his knee as he's falling to his knee. 3 for 3, 3 home runs. National League goes up 4-3. And I'm thinking we're in a good spot because I think Jonathan Aranda is going to get a home run, at least tie it. And as much as I want the American League to win, at this point I'm thinking Polar Bear gets up there and gets a walk-off. That'd be pretty sweet. And so Jonathan Aranda comes up and just can't get a home run. Doesn't get, maybe the nerves got to him, maybe a little jittery, I don't know. Doesn't get a home run. National League wins. We never get to see Pete Alonso take a crack at it. But it was awesome. Again, celebrating. They're jumping up and down. They're chanting MVP, MVP all around Kyle Schwarber. They knew he was getting it. So it was exciting. Is it the way everyone wants the game to end? No. The old school, the purists are going to say baseball is baseball. This isn't baseball. We want to play until the end. There has to be a winner the right way. But it's just not realistic in an all-star game. I'm nothing if not a realist. And we don't want a tie. No one wants a true tie. We want there to be some kind of winner. We're not going to play 18 innings in an all-star game. We don't, A, no one wants to watch that. B, if I'm the Yankees and my guys are out there playing 18 innings on a random Tuesday night instead of getting some rest, I don't like that. But you can't allow everyone to get in the game and then still have guys for the 18th inning. I love that they get all these guys in the game. Yeah, they're adults and the professionals. Some of them are only going to have one chance to be in an all-star game. So you got to let them get on the mound, get some pitches, let them get in the box, get some swings, get in the field, make a play. So when that 9th inning ends, there is no more pitching. So what are you going to do? And I like that they came up with a creative way to end it. It was fun. The game's an exhibition. It doesn't matter in the end. Do I want to see them do this to decide Game 7 of the World Series? Absolutely not. But for this, for what it is, an all-star game, a nice, fun, exciting way to get a completion to the game, I'm all for it. So I had a blast watching it. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. I think they did as good as they could. So did I love the performance of our Tigers? No. But again, just an exhibition. I'd rather they do bad in the All-Star game than do bad Friday night against the Rangers. So I'll take it. We're fine. Didn't have the best showing. We'll have the best showing when October rolls around. So that's going to wrap it up for segment 2. Take a quick break here. On the other side of this, we are going to preview the rest of the season for the Tigers. What can we expect? What do we have to look forward to? Do we need to be nervous? We'll talk about that after the break on the Motor City Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the Motor City Sports Podcast, your home for discussing all things Detroit sports. I'm your host, Lee Mosirak, and as always, thank you for being with me. In the first couple segments today, we recapped All-Star Week in Major League Baseball. So the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. Quick recap for me. I loved both. I thought, I'm a realist. They did what they could do. They made the most of it. The Home Run Derby, they got to keep moving. They can't drag it on. So that's what that clock helps do. Had a nice, fun ending. The favorite won. Had his dad on the mound, had his brother catching. Really cool story. And the All-Star game was great too. Tigers didn't do so well, which I don't love, but hey, we had a great time watching. Tigers had a great time getting out there. They got to rub shoulders with everyone. They'll beat them all in October. And the ending was really cool. It was fun to have that swing off. I don't want to see it in Game 7 of the World Series, but I was perfectly fine seeing it for an exhibition game between studs on a Tuesday night in July. So now we're going to talk about the Tigers' second half. What do we have to look forward to? And also kind of recap the first half. So Tigers are 59-38. They're 11 and a half games up on I think it's the Twins in the AL Central. They're 2.5 games up on Houston for best record in the AL. They're a game up on the Dodgers for best record in all of baseball. So they're doing just fine. We don't need to panic, all right? They're on pace for 99 wins. There's 65 games left. So they're on pace for 99 wins. They pushed that up a little bit. They could get over 100 for like the 5th or 6th time in Tigers history. So I'm not worried. I know a lot of people are kind of panicking, right? A lot of people are nervous because that we really limped into the All-Star break here. Not the best way to end it. Getting swept by the Mariners and losing a game before that, losing 4 in a row. We don't like that to happen. But I'm just not that worried. And the reason I'm not that worried is that's going to happen. We're lucky that it hadn't happened yet, that we hadn't had one of these bad stretches. And that's okay that we had one now. It's going to happen. AJ's great at getting them back, getting them playing. So we got swept, and we got swept at home against a decent team, not the greatest team, but that's okay. We're going to put it aside. And here's why we're going to put it aside. I want to go through some of the highlights of what we have from the first half so far. So as far as batting average goes, what I think is interesting, there's only like 4 guys on the team that even qualify for those type of stats. Just Zach McKinstry, Riley Green, Gleyber Torres, and Spencer Torkelson are the only ones that have had enough at bats to even qualify. So Zach's leading the pack actually on batting average, 285. Riley's 284, Gleyber's 281. Pretty good. Other things I want to point out, Jahmai Jones has been a great pickup. He's batting 293 so far in his limited at-bats. I think he's probably going to continue to be a guy for the rest of the year. And then Javi's batting 275. No one in our lineup is going to be the batting champ. No one's going to have the best batting average when the season's over, and that's fine. Going into home runs, though, we've got a couple guys making a run for it, right? We got Riley Green with 24, 3rd most in the American League. Spencer Torkelson with 21, tied for 5th most in the American League. Kerry Carpenter's injured. He's got 16. Javi's got 10. We have a lot of guys with a few. So we're like top half of the pack in home runs hit this year. And we don't have, 4 guys with 30. No one does. But we got a real good shot at Riley getting 40, Torque getting 40. So that'll be nice to have 2 guys hitting 40 home runs. We got some power there. Leaders in the pack with RBI. Well, it's going to be the same 2 guys, right? Riley Green's got 78 RBI. He's number 3, only behind Cal and Judge on home runs, too. And then Torque's got 59. He's got the 6th most in the American League. Gleyber Torres with 45. Javi with 39. Not terrible. In OPS, no one's got over 1,000 OPS on the team, but Riley Green's got an 879, 6th most in the American League. Zach McKinstry, 836, because he gets those triples, right? He's going to potentially lead the league in triples when the season's over, so that's going to help that OPS. We got those 4 guys above 800. Jahmai Jones again, though, 957 and limited opportunities. Wenzel Perez, 825 and limited opportunities. So we've got some guys with a little bit of pop. Guys, they're going to hit the ball. How are we doing defensively? Well, ERA, interesting. Tarek Skubal's got a 2.23 ERA, which is 2nd. Reese Olson doesn't really qualify. He's got a 2.95. Will Vest with the 2.3. Jack Flaherty above 4.5. Casey Mize just above 3. Our big bullpen guys, Herter, Hannafy, and Holton, they're all in the mid threes. But what I want to point out with ERA is Dylan Smith. Dylan Smith's got a 1.38 ERA. He's got to make a return. When he was up earlier in the year, I think he had 1 or 2 games early on where he might have struggled. And then after that, he was a stud. Every game he's allowing 0 runs, ERA's dropping, ERA's dropping, ERA's dropping. And they get that game where he threw a lot of innings and they send him down to Toledo afterwards. I just assumed that was a paperwork thing because they needed the roster spot, knew he wasn't going to be needed for a bit, knew he wouldn't be able to throw for a bit. So just send him down for now and bring him back. But I think it's time to bring him back. We've obviously seen some struggling with the bullpen, especially the last couple of weeks. Tommy Kahnle's had 3 bad outings in the last couple of weeks. Will Vest struggled a little bit once. He's still overall doing pretty well. Chase Lee had a couple rough outings. So getting some bullpen help for someone to go with Will Vest would be great. And I think Dylan Smith is going to, I've been saying that for weeks, that Dylan Smith's going to be a huge asset as we get into the playoffs towards in the fall. And I want to know what the plan is. When are we bringing him back into the fold and letting him kind of keep doing his thing there? As far as guys that are leading the pack in the records, Tarek Skubal, 2nd most wins. Casey Mize at 9-3 with the 6th most wins. Jack's got a losing record. Reese with 4 wins. Cater Montero with 4 wins. And then with strikeouts, Skubal 2nd most, 153. At strikeouts per 9, he's at 11.38, and Jack's got just over 11. He's at the 3rd most strikeouts per 9. So again, Tarek Skubal with a real chance at another Triple Crown. He's top 2 in all 3 stats, and that's just coming off, the bad start. His ERA was just barely, basically 2 before that. So there's a real chance that this second half he pushes forward and he ends up getting a Triple Crown again, can maybe get some MVP votes. He's leading the league in whip, 0.83. Dylan Smith, 0.85. So while Dylan wouldn't qualify because he doesn't have enough chances, enough batters faced, that's how dominant he's been. Will Vest whip, 1.02. Dylan Smith, 0.85, just barely higher than Tarek Skubal. So I repeat, I think Dylan Smith is going to be a very key piece to this Tigers team moving forward. We keep talking about how we need bullpen help, and that became, again, more evident last week. Getting a guy like Dylan Smith back, that's bullpen help. That could be enough for that. Tommy Kahnle figures it out. Now we got Will Vest, Tommy Kahnle, and we got Dylan Smith. And then as long as Tyler Holton's on, Brent Herter on, pretty good bullpen there still. So that's kind of where our stats shake out. And I know like a lot of people are kind of panic about the postseason. And I just think that's unnecessary. I don't think we need to panic. I saw, again, local sports talk radio drives me nuts. They're just literally, the point of this segment was to make up things to be stressed about and to panic about, which seems like an insane exercise to me. I don't know why we're making up things to be stressed about, but I don't think we need to be that stressed. We've got Tarek Skubal, best pitcher in baseball. Casey Mize, 3.15 ERA, 9 wins. He was an all-star. And Jack Flaherty, and he's had 4 good starts in a row that just didn't result in a win. Or Tigers won 1 of those 4. I think he picked up 2 losses and 1 no decision. And the loss wasn't his fault. Like, yeah, he's not throwing 8 innings of shutout baseball, but he's pitching well enough to win. And we know that inside Jack Flaherty is something a lot more than pitching well enough to win. There's an animal inside Jack Flaherty. So we get to the postseason and we've got Tarek Skubal, Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty to run out there. Who's competing with that? Who's got a better lineup? And I think the problem is because locally we don't take it seriously. Like it's kind of like if your buddy becomes a comedian and tells you, "Hey, I'm doing a gig down at the comedy club. You want to come see it?" When you go watch your buddy's show, to you, he's just still your buddy. You don't think he's the second coming of Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, fill in the blank. You're just saying, "Oh, that's funny. That's Billy. He's doing his thing up there. Yeah, oh, Billy, we'll go back to the house later." You don't take him seriously. And I think that's what happens with some of these guys. We think, well, they're our Detroit Tigers. They can't be that good. We've seen Casey Mize try to become that good for years, so we don't take it seriously. Tarek Skubal, I think we take seriously. Jack Flaherty, as a collective, people are giving up on way too easily. And that's kind of what that local sports talk was talking about. They were saying that we fall in love with our role players too much and we fall in love with our own players too much. And I disagree. I think it's the exact opposite. I think we don't take our players seriously enough. We don't think our players are as good as they are. And I think that's silly. So 3rd most runs in the American League right now. That 3-headed monster for a pitching staff. We're fine. I'm not worried. Like, would I like some improvement? Yeah, but I kind of just want our guys to play a little better. I don't want a new third baseman. I don't even really want a new center fielder. I really want Parker to figure it out. I don't really want bullpen guys. I want Dylan Smith to be a stud. I want Will Vest and Tommy Kahnle to be studs. I want Tyler Holton to be a stud. That's what I want. I want Bo Brisky to figure it out and come back and be the animal he was down the stretch last year. I want our guys to be the guys that lead us in. I think they're good enough to do it. I believe in that team, and I think too many people are giving up on them. And I think that's going to be even more nationally. So, yeah, we had a bad week last week. Didn't do great in the All-Star game, but we have some time off right here. We're playing a below 500 team in the Rangers this week, and we got Reese Olson on the mound on Friday. We're following up that series with a series against one of the worst teams in baseball in the Pirates. Yeah, they stole one game from us last time, but got a real good chance to go 4-2 on this next little stand. Then we come back for some home cooking the following week. So I'm not worried. I think this second half's going to be great. AJ is going to keep them on the ball. They're going to figure this out. They're going to get going. The guys are going to hit. The pitchers are going to start mowing people down some more. Defense has never really been an issue. And so I'm just not worried at all. And I think too many people are kind of turning the panic alarms on. We got to roll that back a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as Tigers go. Pretty good first half. Riley Green got a real chance at a 40 home run, 290, 100 RBIs. Torres got a real good chance at 100 RBIs, 40 home runs. Zach McKinstry, real good chance to lead the league in triples. Tarek Skubal, we have a chance at getting a Triple Crown Cy Young MVP year again. Just a lot of really good stuff happening with this Detroit Tigers team. On pace to win 99 games, real shot to break 100, 101, 102. Maybe we get 106 wins for, I think, the first time in team history. So a lot of great things coming to this Detroit Tigers team, and I'm really excited for the second half. We're going to wrap it up for now. Hope you guys have all enjoyed the week. Hope you all enjoyed the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Motor City Sports Podcast. Again, do me a favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, give us 5 stars. Subscribe to us if you can. Tell your friends. Subscribe to us on Instagram, Motor City Sports Podcast. Subscribe on X/Twitter, Motown Sports Pod. Find the channel on YouTube, Motor City Sports Podcast, and subscribe to it. We've got some shorts on there. We've got some Instagram videos that are hitting 3,000 views. Some shorts that are hitting over 1,000 views now. So we're trying to ramp this up a little bit. So please tell your friends. Hope you like what you see. Hope you like this positive energy. Every time I think, man, is this the right way to go about this? I get on Twitter, I get on Instagram, and I see one of the other local sports guys just doing negative, negative, negative. The Tigers aren't that good. The players aren't that good. We got to figure this. We got to figure that. Drives me nuts. That's not what we should be doing as sports fans in the Motor City. We got to enjoy this. And our team's good. If our teams were terrible, fine, let's have the conversation. But our teams are really good, and we need to celebrate that. We need to enjoy it because not everyone gets to enjoy a great team the way we do. So thanks again. I've been your host, Lee Mosirak. You've been listening to the Motor City Sports Podcast. Thank you all very much, and we will catch you next time. Take care.